early morning when you get up, the first 20 minutes, that mood plays a major role on the whole day mood of your whole day's mood. The early morning, the moment you get up from the bed, the 20 minutes, what's your mood? That plays a major role on your whole day, your full day. So that is, the quality of that mood tremendously increases, and the whole depression breaks if you avoid onion, green chili and garlic. About this tea coffee, I do not know. Only that much I know, that it's not good for the health, but otherwise I do not know how spiritually it is effective.
So Swamiji, red chili is okay?
Red chili is okay. Gongura chutney is okay. Red is okay. Red chili is okay.
What about non-veg food? Because depending on the culture where people are born, they seem to, even the Hindus, they seem to eat fish or goat or whatever. But, and then there's a whole portion of the Hindus that don't eat. And there's always this God created it, and surely it must be normal to eat it. And then there's this other question, no, that just doesn't mean because we anyone can't think, but we can think, so we should be more conscious of what we eat. So, anything you can say on that subject?
See one thing. If you argue from the point of view of ahimsa, eating vegetarian food also is himsa only. There are so many plants are killed, so many trees are cut, so many things are happening. From the point of ahimsa, you cannot argue. You cannot argue in any other point except the point of realization. If some enlightened master declares, that is the only authority. Otherwise, all other arguments can be counter-argued. All arguments can be counter-argued. According to me, it's my personal experience, of course. There is no proof. Vegetarian food allows more sensitivity and more ecstatic, the energy flow in your body. And at least I can say, from my birth, I have never taken non-veg food. I never tasted, I never had non-veg. I had only pure vegetarian food. And I know how the non-veg bodies work, the body which takes non-veg food. I know the energy flow. So from my experience I can say surely it helps. The more happy, joyful, sensitive vibration, you will be more light and ecstatic with the vegetarian food. That much only I could comment. Otherwise all arguments can be counter-argued.
Talking about vegetarian and non-vegetarian, of course, from medical point of view, vegetarian is much better.
Medical point also. That's nice.
Yeah, and the other thing that I want to ask, which I think is a stupid question, but if you see avatars of Vishnu, Ram, or Krishna, they were Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas were traditionally non-vegetarian. You have any comment on that?
Maybe in those days, the idea of vegetarianism itself, I feel, is developed after Buddha's time. Before Buddha's time, in Rishis, the age of Rishis, nowhere there is a mentioning about vegetarian food. They call it sattvic food. In the Upanishad, there is a mentioning about sattvic food, but no vegetarian idea. The idea of vegetarian is never existing. Sattvic food they mention, but there is no clear definition. Non-veg is a food which is not qualified for enlightenment, or nothing is mentioned. And there is lot of proofs. They used to offer the cow into the sacrifice and eat that meat. There are hundreds of proofs. come out any proof in Rishi's age about the vegetarian idea. So maybe after Buddha's time, the whole vegetarian idea was developed because of Buddha's compassion, the ahimsa idea. Who developed, I don't know, but now I feel it's very good for the modern day man. So I advocate that. That's all. But once in a while, if you eat, you don't have to create a guilt in you. I always tell people, try to be vegetarian, that is good, okay. But don't create guilt in you. Guilt is much bigger sin than eating. Don't have guilt in you. Don't have any guilt. Because there is no ultimate rule of right and wrong in the planet Earth. We all follow some rules just to understand and live a social life happily. See, you will not kill me, so that I will not kill you. Both of us have got an agreement. We will not kill each other, live happily. That is what is the social law. Suddenly if you understand, oh, even if I kill, I am not going to hell. Will you start killing people? No. If you are going to start killing, if you are going to start killing the people, that if somebody declares you will not have punishment, you are an animal, nothing more than that. Still you are not grown, you are just immature. So, even if you don't have punishment, even if you don't have a reward, if you can follow morality, that is the only standard morality. That only is your real being. If you will follow some morality just for the sake of rules and regulation, naturally you will try to escape from the rule and create guilt. Violation and guilt, both will happen. Don't carry any guilt. There is no rule on the planet Earth which is ultimate. These are all just created for the social function, that a better harmonious society. For that reason we have created. Don't internalize any rule. A small story, wonderful story. How many of you attended the Guilt, the Sure Killer of Intelligence discourse? A small story from that. Many of you have not attended. For use all. A small story. One thief escaped from the palace after stealing and ran to a forest, to a Rishi's ashram, and asked the Rishi in the midnight, can you let me stay for night? Rishi doesn't know he is a thief. Allowed him to stay. Next day morning, when he took leave, he told the Rishi, I was a thief and just yesterday night, I came from palace. Immediately Rishi started weeping. Oh God, I gave food and shelter for one thief. How big sin it is. Please save me. He started weeping and wailing. Suddenly he heard a voice weeping from above also. In the heavens somebody was weeping. Rishi said, oh God, why are you weeping? God said, you see, you gave food for the thief only one day, food and shelter. I am giving every day. Where will I go and weep? You have given food and shelter for him only one day. You say it's a big sin. I am taking care of him every day. Where will I go and weep? See, all your concept of sin is just a social concept. I am not telling you go and do everything. No. Understand. Don't internalize and create wounds in your being. Have all morality out of understanding, not out of greed or fear. Any morality based on greed or fear is only skin deep. It's not too deep. One more small story. It's a little funny story. 3 women died in the planet Earth. They reached the Yama's court. Yama was sitting, giving judgments. First lady came. Yama asked, Did you live a faithful life in the planet Earth? She said, Master, I lived a chaste, pure life. I was totally faithful. Then the record was taken out. It was found truth. Yama said, all right, let you have golden key and first class, go into the heaven. Next came the second lady. Yama asked, how did you live? She said, only once, that also mentally I did a mistake. I have not done anything physically. Please forgive me, Lord. All right, have a silver key and go second class. Third came a lady. She said, I was an actress. I have done whatever you can imagine and whatever you can't imagine. I have done everything. I do not know where you will put me. Now you can give the judgment, because I know you are having all the records. It is the truth. Yama looked this side and that side and told, have my room key and go there. Go and be there. All your morality, if it is based on fear and greed, it is only skin deep. Let all the morality be based on the understanding, not based on fear and greed. Any time, if it is based on fear and greed, see, when the speed limit is always, if you think of cop, when there is no cop car, naturally 15 miles, 10 miles, you will go up. If you keep that as understanding, you will never even try. So make the things as understanding. Don't make it as a rule. Yes.
What is the example of morality based on fear? Direct understanding.
Greed. Heaven. Many people give up all these things here so that they will have in the heaven. Many people stop drinking so that in the heaven they will be given somarasa. I tell them, are a fool, who knows they will give or not, and who knows they will give the same quantity, and who knows it is it is more qualitative than this. Don't give up anything for the sake of you will get something there. Give up if you want to give up. Don't give up just thinking that you may have there. They may suddenly say, now onwards we declare that no somarasa will be served. They may change the rule, then you will miss this and that, don't miss that. So let all the morality be based on understanding, not on rules. Yes.
One more comment on vegetarian food while we are on the food topic. Just eating vegetarian food doesn't keep you healthy. Overintelligence is as bad as, if you overeat, vegetarian food is as bad as non-vegetarian.
Of
A
course.
lot of research has been done in heart disease among Indians, and there is no difference between vegetarians and non-vegetarians.
See, when it is overeating, naturally both creates problem. When you eat normally, I'm talking about the normal quantity. I always tell people, see, feeding me is a big prestige for the devotees. Wherever I go, they put such big plate and fill the whole plate with so many items to show their prestige. And it's a big trouble. And if I eat half and leave it, they will tell, no, Swamiji, please don't waste it and eat. I always tell them, if I keep it outside, only food will be wasted. If I put it inside, system also will be wasted. So be very clear. If you waste it outside, only food will be wasted. If you put it inside, food and the system both will be wasted. What you said is right.
Can you discuss on the faith and common sense?
When your intellect ripes, it becomes a common sense, intelligence. When your emotion ripes, it becomes faith. When your being ripes, it becomes enlightenment. You have three levels of being. One is head, intellect, logic. Another one is heart, emotion, feeling. Third one is your being, your very identity. In these three, if you continuously work on the intellect, there are few meditation techniques which works on the intellect. When intellect ripes, it becomes common sense, intelligence. Common sense is the most uncommon thing on the planet Earth. it becomes intelligence. And when the emotion, if you work on the emotion, there are meditation techniques which works on the emotion. If you work on that, then the whole thing turns into faith. Understand one important thing. If you believe some God or Guru, don't bother whether the God has got power or Guru has got power. Your faith has got power. You see, the Rama, this guy himself has to make a big bridge to go to Lanka. But this Hanuman, you see, just taking Rama Nama, he flied. The faith on the Rama was more powerful than Rama. There is a beautiful comment on this. Rama says Jambavan. Jambavan start building the bridge and tell Hanuman to jump, fly and go to Lanka. Hanuman asks, what? For you bridge to be built, for me I have to fly and jump. What is this? Then Rama says, Arey, Ramanama is much powerful than Rama. Ramanama is more powerful than Rama. You should read Tulasi. Tulasi is the real Ramayana. Valmiki is a historian. Valmiki recorded the history. But Tulasi only made it as a juicy. Tulasi only made the whole thing as a juicy. Tulasi you should read. And the north, even a sweeper will sing Tulasi and sweep the morning. In the morning, especially in the Gujarat, if you go, Gujarat is the land of Bhakti. Gujarat and UP also. Even the sweepers, they will sing Tulsi and sweep the streets. They will, Tulsi says, Ramana, your name is much more powerful than you. When you have the deep faith, when you have the trust, the very trust and the faith itself becomes a power. The third thing, when you are being, the deeper level meditation techniques, when it drives, you become enlightened. Common sense and the faith are very closely related. If you have the right faith, you will have the right common sense. If you have the right common sense, you will have the right faith. If there is a conflict between common sense and the faith, look, something is wrong, either in common sense or in the faith. Otherwise, both are the expression of your different expression of your being. It can never contradict, it can only complement each other. Now let us work on the Mooladhara Chakra. Yes.
One more quick question before we go to that. So are there any, I'm just posing the question, I don't know the answer. Are there any absolute musts and must nots?
In the planet Earth, there is nothing.
Religious or spiritual way?
According to me, none of your actions are related to enlightenment. If somebody is a great saint who lived a complete, total pure life, there is every chance he cannot become enlightened. It is actually enlightenment is related to the understanding and expression of your inner energy. I am telling you the honest, direct truth. Enlightenment is nowhere related to any of your outer actions. Physical activity is nowhere related to any enlightenment, and you can never judge enlightenment by physical activity. A fake guy can act much better because he knows how to act. These original guys can never act. They will be very innocent and usual something. They cannot actually. If your enlightenment image, if somebody matches exactly, then be very clear there is something wrong.